Hi everybody, thanks for watching. So one of my favorite things to do with my Mavic Pro is to take a time-lapse video. Now the reason that I like to do it so much with the Mavic Pro is because it's so good at holding its position. So it holds so steady, so you can get some pretty good shots of some cloud time lapses or traffic or people moving or all kinds of things. You know, it's kind of like the brain surgeon of drones. It just is really so steady. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you guys how I do a time lapse from start to finish, and then I'm going to take it into the computer and I'm going to show you how I edit it from upload to export. So let's get to it. First of all, thank you for watching 51 Drones, where my channel is about learning how to fly a drone from a beginner's perspective. In particular, the DJI Mavic Pro, and pretty soon, the DJI Spark as well. Okay guys, so go ahead and look at my screen here and you can see my settings right now. I do have my camera settings set to manual and I have it to 100 ISO, and right now the shutter speed is at 200. Now the reason that I have it set at 200 is because the clouds are going to be the focus of this time lapse. You know, you can see the foreground, the ground down there is going to be darker, but I don't really care about that. I'm going to go ahead and focus on those clouds, and then I can fix some of that darkness in post-processing. So the first thing that you want to do when you get your Mavic Pro into position is go ahead and engage Tripod Intelligent Flight Mode. So you click on that little controller over there, and then you choose Tripod Mode. Now that's going to help your drone sit nice and steady. And I'm going to go ahead and hit the record button, and then I'll just talk through the rest of these settings for you guys. So right now I have the white balance set to cloudy. You don't want to have it on auto white balance, because what will happen is as the light changes, the color of your time lapse will change and it's going to be really flashy, and you don't want that. You want to have a consistent color. I am shooting this in 4K and 30 frames per second, and I'm really excited about that because up until now, I've been unable to shoot 4K. Well, I've been able to shoot 4K, but I haven't been able to process it because my computer could not handle processing 4K. But I finally got my 4K editing beast, and I got it set up yesterday. So I'm so excited to show it to you guys. All right, so now all we're gonna do is let this record, and I'm just gonna take about 10 or 12 minutes of video, and then we'll bring the Mavic home and we'll take it into the computer and I'll show you guys how I process it. So I'm gonna go ahead and speed this up right now so you guys don't have to watch the same boring footage for 10 minutes. Just a couple of things for you guys to note. This is a perfect day to do a time lapse. Number one, the wind is very slow right now. There's hardly any wind, but the clouds are moving at a pretty good speed because we just had a thunderstorm go through, and we do have another thunderstorm coming. So this is a nice break to get some really cool cloud footage. So in order for you to get the best time lapse with your Mavic Pro, you want your wind speed to be 5 miles per hour and no more than 10 miles per hour. So just keep an eye on your weather and make sure that the wind is not faster than 10 miles per hour. Okay, so that should be just about enough footage to give you a good example of a time lapse. I'm going to pull the memory card out of the Mavic Pro, take it into the computer, and show you guys how I edit it. Okay guys, every once in a while I'll get a message asking me, you know, what kind of equipment do you use, what's your memory card that you use, what's your computer like, and all kinds of things like that. So I'm just going to show you guys a few things that I use. If you haven't watched my video on my memory cards, I use the SanDisk Extreme Plus 64 gigabyte. Another product that I use, some people have asked what my memory card reader is. I use this Sabrent SuperSpeed 3.0. It's got 2 slots, one for the SD and one for the micro SD. This thing is super cheap, you guys. It's like $6.50 on Amazon. You know, it does the job for me. I'm probably going to upgrade though, because I think I could be uploading a little bit faster than I am right now. But currently this is what I use, and it works great so far. Okay guys, for the next step, you can see I got my micro SD card plugged into my card reader. I'm going to plug it into my 3.0 port on my computer. I'm not going to show you my whole desktop because right now it's a complete mess because I'm switching over from my old computer. But eventually when I get this cleaned up and I get everything transferred over, I'm going to show you guys my new computer and go through it in detail. So let's plug this into the computer and then I'll show you what happens next. Okay, so once you insert your USB card reader into your computer, most of the time your import dialog is going to come up and it's going to ask you if you want to import your photos and your videos or whatever. So I have my computer set to take no action. My default is take no action when I plug something in my USB port. It's just a personal choice. Most of the time people have that import dialog that will pop up. So I've already actually imported those two video clips. The Mavic Pro took that video and split it into 2 clips. So there's a 9-minute clip right here, and then there's also about a 4-minute clip. And so it split it into 2 groups. And I'm actually not sure why that happened. If you know why that happened, go ahead and put that in the comments below. I think when you're recording 4K, it can only cache a certain length of video. And so what it does is it just stops and immediately picks it up again. I know that my regular camera does that too. And so I'm guessing that's just the maximum amount of 4K footage that can be recorded in one single clip. And, you know, it looks like it's about almost 4 gigabytes. So maybe 4 gigabyte is the maximum of a 4K clip that it can record. Anyway, we're just going to focus on that first one, that 74. And we're going to use that to create our time lapse. So I'm going to close this, and the next thing we're going to do is open up Adobe Premiere CC. Now that is the program, the video editing program that I use for all of my YouTube videos, Adobe Premiere. And the reason that I like it is, number one, it's one of the easiest to learn as far as video editing, as far as I'm concerned. You know, I've looked at, I think, 4 different ones, and Adobe Premiere was the best one, and for me anyway. And then the other thing is, you know, it updates by itself. You don't have to do any kind of updating, any upgrading or anything like that. You pay $20 a month for it, and if there's any changes to it or anything that needs to be fixed, it's already done for you. And I like that. I like the ease of access, I like the ease of use, and the ease of learning it. And so if you guys want a video editing program, highly recommend Adobe Premiere CC. So we're going to go ahead and open that up right now. And the first thing that we're going to have to do is we're going to have to import that video clip. Actually, the first thing we're going to have to do is click on New Project. So we're going to create a new project, and let's just call it Clouds. Okay, and then just go ahead and hit OK. Now, next thing that we need to do is import that video clip. So we're going to go to File, Import, and it comes up right to that folder, and we're going to import that DJI 74 video clip. Okay, and so very easy, you guys. You can either create a new sequence by going to File, New, and Sequence right here, or easier, you can just drag this video clip right over to the timeline. And that's going to create a sequence for us. A sequence basically is what we're creating, and it makes one for you. And so the next thing that we need to do, let's just change the speed. Okay, so we're doing a time lapse. We're not slowing it down, we're speeding it up, so we're lapsing the time. Okay, so what we're going to do is there's many ways to do this with Adobe Premiere. And I like to do things the simple way, and I like to show you guys how to do things the simple way because, you know, I think most of you, like myself, are beginners. You know, just a disclaimer, I am a beginner not only at flying drones, but also video editing. I am by no means an expert or even probably an intermediate at editing videos. Everything that I've learned by watching other people on YouTube. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to post in the description down below one of the guys that I've used for just about everything that I've learned on Adobe Premiere. His name is Justin Odisho. And, you know, some of you may have watched him, but, you know, he's really good at explaining things in a simple manner. And so I'm going to put his YouTube channel link below in the description. Check him out. A lot of the stuff that I'm going to show you in this video is stuff that I learned from him and stuff that he has gone into more detail with. So check out his channel when you guys have a chance. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click on this video clip, and I'm going to do speed duration. And we're going to adjust the speed. So right now it's at 100%. And so what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get it down to about a 10-second time lapse. So we're just going to hit 5,000%. And as you can see, that cuts it down to about 10.5 seconds. And then we just need to click on OK. And as you can see, it really shortened up that clip. So we're going to spread this out a little bit. And right now, it's not going to play very smoothly. Even with my fast computer, it's going to be kind of choppy because we really crammed all those frames together into a short clip. And so the first thing that you need to do, actually you don't have to, but you can render this so you can watch it. I'm going to do that. I'm just going to hit I, which sets an in point, and I'm going to go to the end of the clip, and I'm going to hit O. Okay, so that's an in point and an out point. So what we're going to do is we're going to render this so we're able to watch it in regular speed. Now I'm going to go ahead and speed this up. We're going to go up to render, in to out. I'm going to speed it up so you guys don't have to watch all 327 frames get rendered. Okay, so now that it's rendered, we can watch it in real time. And I just want you to pay attention to one thing. Just watch the foreground here, you know, the green trees and the grass right here, and you'll see that it is just a little bit shaky. It's actually not too bad. You know, there was a slight breeze, but it was it was enough to move the Mavic around, even though it was in tripod mode. You know, the clouds look really good, and it's pretty cool. You know, see that clouds moving quickly, but it's kind of shaky. You see it rotates a little bit, and it kind of shifts back and forth a little bit. And so what we're going to do is we're going to fix that using one of the effects in Adobe Premiere, and the effect is called the Warp Stabilizer. Now, the Warp Stabilizer is a very powerful effect that you can put on your videos if you're trying to kind of straighten out some wonky footage, and you know, it's very labor intensive for your computer as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into the search, we got to go to effects first, and then we're going to search for warp, and that's going to pull up the Warp Stabilizer right here. So it's in the video effects folder under distort, and it's called Warp Stabilizer. Now, like I was saying, the Warp Stabilizer is very labor intensive. You have to have a pretty significantly fast computer as far as your processor and your graphics card. You know, my computer is, you know, it's brand new. It's pretty fast. You know, it's advertised as a gaming computer or a 4K editing computer, and it still has to struggle a little bit with the Warp Stabilizer. But, you know, it's a lot faster than my old one. So if you're going to use this effect on your videos with Adobe, just be aware that it's probably going to take a little bit of time. So I'm going to go ahead and grab that on. Oops, you know what? One thing that I forgot to do, the Warp Stabilizer cannot be applied to a clip if you speed it up. And so what we have to do is we have to do one little extra step here. So let's go to undo. And what we're going to do is we're going to, it's kind of a really quick get around. We're going to right click on this, and we're going to nest it. Okay. And we can just leave it called nested sequence. I'm just going to leave that just like that. And now it becomes a nested sequence. Now you're able to do a Warp Stabilizer on a nested sequence. So we're going to drag that over there and set it right on the video. So as you can see, if you look over here, in the effects controls, it is analyzing this video, and it takes a little bit of time. So it says remaining time about 3 minutes, and as it's analyzing this video, there's 3 things that you need to look at. There's the result, the method, and the framing. So the first thing you're going to look at is result. You have the option of no motion or smooth motion. Now, I've always left this one on smooth motion, and you know, the reason that I'm putting Justin Odisho down in the description, he explains these in much greater detail than I'm able to, but I'm going to tell you what I use. I use smooth motion. Okay, I use position, scale, and rotation. Basically, what I know is that the more complex you want the Warp Stabilizer to be, the farther down the line you go. And so I only need, for my time-lapse videos with like my clouds or sunsets, sunrises, things like that, there's not a whole lot of motion going on because I'm holding the Mavic Pro still with the tripod mode. You know, we're not moving forwards or backwards or side to side. We're just holding still. And so the position, scale, and rotation has worked the best for me. You know, as far as the other options here, you know, I think that's for more complex videos. And like I said, go ahead and watch Justin's channel, and he can advise you guys on what all these mean. And then the last one is the framing, and it defaults to stabilize, crop, and auto scale. And I just leave it on stabilize, crop, and auto scale because that's always worked for me. So, okay, so it's about 50% done as far as analyzing. I'm going to go ahead and let that continue to analyze. I'm going to speed this up. Okay, so now the Warp Stabilizer has analyzed it, it stabilized it, and we did the render, so we'll be able to watch the stabilized version right now. I'm going to pull this down a little bit so you guys can see it better. Go ahead and play through it and watch the foreground here. See how steady those trees hold now, and the ground. Clouds are still moving nicely. You know, it's a little bit shaky, but it pretty much removed any rotation. Okay, it's a little bit up and down, maybe a little bit side to side, but there's no rotation. So it did a really nice job of stabilizing that video. You know, granted, there wasn't a whole lot to stabilize. It was actually pretty good right from the start, but now I think it looks even better. So now my next step normally is I would do just a little bit of editing as far as the color and the lighting on the foreground here, and I'm going to go ahead and do that off camera, but I just want to show you guys the next thing that you would do after doing your color grading and your fixing of some little things here, some sharpness, contrast issues, is to export it. And so I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm just going to go to File, Export, Media, and that's going to bring up our export settings dialog. I always go down here and choose entire sequence, just in case I have the in and out set. And then up here, as far as format, I always use H.264. And you know what? Don't ask me why. That's just what somebody told me on YouTube, and that's what I've always used. Now, there's a lot of different options here, but H.264 is what I use. You can go ahead and change the name of your file. Let's go ahead and change it to Clouds1, and we're going to save it as that. And then the only other thing that I have changed on my videos when I upload to YouTube when I export and then upload is this. I check this use maximum render quality right here. It doesn't take a whole lot more time when it's exporting the video, and it makes it look a lot nicer. So go ahead and check off that box if you have that. And then I just click on export, and as you can see, it's not going to take a whole lot of time, but about 2.5 minutes before this is exported. And then what I'm going to do is transfer that video, that cloud time lapse, into this final YouTube video. It's super windy outside right now, so I have to finish this video inside. Anyway, there you go. That's how I do a time-lapse video with my Mavic Pro from start to finish, and that's how I edit it with Adobe Premiere. Now, I'm sure there's something that I missed. I'm sure I forgot something. So if you guys have any questions about what I did, how I did the video recording, how I did the editing, anything like that, go ahead and put those questions in the comments below, and I'll get to you as soon as I can. Just a reminder, you guys, I'm a beginner not only at flying a drone, but also editing video. And so I'm going to put a link for Justin Odisho's channel down below in the description as well. Check out his channel. If you guys get Adobe Premiere Pro, Justin is one of the first guys that you should go visit and go watch his videos, because he can teach you so much. Like I said, pretty much everything that I've learned how to do on Adobe Premiere CC, I've learned from Justin. And there's a couple other ones out there, but he's really good at kind of making it very simple and easy to understand. So check him out. Also in the description, I'm going to put the links for some of the equipment that I use for my videos. My camera equipment, my computer, which is really cool. That video is coming up pretty soon. My memory cards, memory card reader, everything that I use to make my YouTube videos, I'm going to put those in the links in the description. And if you guys want to check those out, most of the time you can go to Amazon or DJI and get everything that I use. And if you click on those links and you buy anything off of Amazon, it doesn't even have to be any of that equipment, but anything at all, helps this channel out so much. It's just a little bit, but every little bit helps. And it really helps me continue to create informational videos about the Mavic Pro, and pretty soon the DJI Spark as well. If you got anything of value out of this video, please consider clicking on that thumbs up button. That like button really helps me out as well, helps the channel out, and it really makes you feel good, and it makes me feel good. If you're not subscribed to this channel, you're just passing by watching this video, please consider clicking on that subscribe button and being a part of this community. We have a really fun, really engaged community. We learn from each other, we talk to each other, we ask each other questions, and that's what I love about doing this. I have probably learned more from people commenting than I have taught them, and so I really love doing this. Please join us, join our group, hit that subscribe button. As always, thank you for watching so much, and fly safe and fly smart.